Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, we are going to see how we can set up a complete CI/CD pipeline for Python application. So we are going to basically deploy our Python app on Azure App Services, and also we will create a ML pipeline. So let me go to my next slide. So this is what we are going to implement as part of today's video. So we are going to create a module under pipelines like for build.ml, deploy dev environment for deployment on prod environment, and the final Azure pipeline.ml file where we will call all these three files during a deployment. Then in a build and test stage, basically we will use all these following tools. So we will first basically we need to install the dependencies. We will use a cache also, so I will explain you about a cache in a few minutes. Then we will also use a flag 8 tool. We will run unit test cases. We will use a bandit also, and then we will publish the artifact so we can deploy our app on dev and prod environment. And after dev environment, we will also use a manual approval, and also we will implement automatic approval as well. Then once the stage or the build will be approved from here, it will go and deploy on a prod environment. So this is what basically we are going to implement as part of today's video. So let's understand few terms here. Like first is cache. So basically when we run a CI/CD pipeline, Python always download or install a pip package which we mention in a requirement.txt files. So every time it needs to download the packages. So what we can do, we can cache these packages and we can reuse in our entire pipeline. So we can save a lot of time as well. So the default location on Azure hosted agent is /home/bsts /cache and /pip. This is the default location where our cache will be, or the downloaded files packages will be stored. So this is the purpose of cache. Second is a flag 8. So basically flag 8 basically check your Python code. If you have any spelling mistake, if you have any spacing issue, or if there any issue with your line length, so all these things like syntax error, unused variables, so all these things will be checked by flag 8. So we are going to install and use a flag 8 as well. Another important tool is bandit. So basically this is a static code analyzer which is designed for security vulnerability check in Python application or Python code, and it is a part of OpenStack security project, and it is widely used in CI/CD pipeline as well. So we are going to see, or we are going to implement bandit as well as part of our CI/CD pipeline. So let me give you a quick overview of our application code. So this is a sample application code. Let me see if I can zoom it little bit so it will be more visible. Okay, so zoom in, I think one more time so it will be more clear and visual as well. Okay, so this is our test sample text folder where we have written a unit test cases. So I'm not going to explain this particular file. This is the sample test files I have taken. So it will basically run our unit test cases. And this is our sample app.py file. So basically it is going to print this is a demo Flask app deployed via CI/CD pipeline. So let me try to run this particular file so we will get to know okay what the basically output we will see once we deploy our app on Azure App Service. So let me run this python app.py. Let me copy the URL here and let me go to my command prompt. So this is the basically application we are going to see after a CI/CD deployment when we will do on Azure App Services. So let me close this, and let me go back to my Visual Studio Code here. So let me cancel this and let me clear as well. And this is our requirement.txt file where we specified the module which is required for our application. So this is a very simple Python application which we are going to deploy. So now let me go back to my uh, architecture here. So the very first thing what we have to do, we have to create a folder called pipeline. Under pipeline we will create a build.yaml file, then we will test it. If it's working fine, then we will set up another two file, deploy-dev environment and deploy-prod environment one. Then finally we will set up our Azure pipeline.yaml file. So they are basically here, basically we will call these particular modules. So this is the best practice. We should not retain the entire complete lengthy file for complete, like in single YAML file you are putting your build.yaml and deployment steps as well. So it is always good to isolate this particular part. So in case if you face any issues or any errors, it will be easy to troubleshoot as well. So now I'm going to my Azure DevOps portal. So this is the repository temporary temp-python-app. So we have here three files here. So what I'm going to do, first I will open, or I will create in a VS Code, then we will copy it on a Azure DevOps. We can also connect our Azure DevOps to Visual Studio Code as well. So that is also option we have. So let me first create a folder, then I will name it pipelines. Let me go back here. So we have a pipeline folder. Okay, let me go to my VS Code here as well. Okay, so pipelines. Now under this very first thing what we have to do, we have to create a build.yaml file. So let me create a new file here. Sorry, build.yaml file. So and YAML, basically you can put YAML and you can also put YAML, both are fine. So let me create it. So now when you create or when you deploy any application, either it is on Python, PHP, .NET, C#, C++, you should know a basic functionality. Okay, what all the steps you have to follow while you are building any of the applications. So the very first thing what I will do, if I'll create this file in Azure DevOps portal, then it will be more easy because we will get a predefined task as well. So what we will do, so the very first thing, we need a Python version, like we are going to use Azure DevOps hosted agent. So we need to make sure, okay, the required version of Python we need, like whatever the version of Python we need, that should be there. If not, we need to install the version as well. So first thing what I will do here, I will specify here parameters, parameter TRS, okay, and here I will give a value here Python, sorry, PYTHON versions, and here we will use a Python version 3.9. so let me put it in single quotes here, 9. Okay, it's in double quote, let me put in on single quote. Okay, so what we did, we have just specified a parameter. Okay, this version of Python we needed, or we will basically install this Python version in our Azure hosted agent. Now next thing, what next we have to do, we have to create a stages first. So let me put a stages. So here basically we are not getting a complete what is called I completely forget the name, like predefined, like if you type something it will automatically populate all the values. So this is little hard, but there are extensions available which we can use as well. So let me quickly check if I can. Okay, let me check if. Okay, so we are getting the options as well. So after stages we will define our first stage, which is, sorry, uh, which is build and test stage. So let me give a name of this stage as a build stage. We can also give a display name for this particular stage. So for this I need to come here, and if I'll type here, okay, so again we are not getting a indentation. And one more thing, while you are writing a YAML file you have to keep these indentation in mind, like these spaces basically, otherwise your pipeline will not work. Okay, so here let me do a display. Okay, okay, so this display name, and display name we can give build and, sorry, build and test. Let me put it in a caps letter, this one. Okay, so we have defined a stages first stage, which is build, and display name is build and test. Okay, now next what we need to specify under stages, we need to define the jobs. Look, okay, what basically task you are going to perform. So basically we are going to build our application as part of build stage, so we need to define here jobs. Okay, so under jobs we will define our first job. Okay, let me put one tab. Let me do one thing, instead of using a Visual Studio Code, because I need to search for extension as well, or let me search for extensions, so we will get these values automatically populated as soon as we hit enter for a next line, so it will become a little easy. So let me go to, okay, so extensions, yeah, let me search for YAML. Okay, so let me see the purpose for this YAML file. Features. Okay, let me close my terminal first. Details. So we need for Azure DevOps purpose. So let me search here for Azure DevOps YAML. Okay, this is the one, Azure DevOps pipeline generator as well. So actually we need to install this authorized extension, because, so syntax highlight for, okay, let me install this one. So this VS Code extension adds syntax highlighting and auto completion for Azure Pipeline YAML to VS Code. So I think this extension can help us on writing the YAML pipeline file. Okay, so this is installed. For changes, I think we need to restart our Visual Studio Code. So let me do that. Let me close this and let me reopen it. Okay. So now let's see if now it's working or not. Let me put one space here, hyphen, and here we need to define jobs. It's not jobs, it's first job, because jobs parameters already we have specified, but we have not put it here, colon. So you have to keep in mind, like if you are not putting colon, it will highlight in a different color. If I remove it, it will take as a value, not key. and if I'll remove this particular file here, and if I'll again press tab hyphen, and now we will get a job. So the very first job will be let me put it a name, build and test. Okay, I forgot to keep spaces here. So build and test, first job. Now when we run this particular stage, where it will, or basically the job which we are defining here, where these job will execute. So these jobs will need some kind of machines where they can execute or run the task which we are going to define. So for this we will use Azure hosted agent. So here I will, okay, let me put enter. So here I will search for pool, and here I will give our BM image. BM image is nothing, it's just a agent, which agent you need it. So here we will use U12 agent. So we will use here U12 hyphen LATEST, latest. Okay. So we have defined jobs. Under jobs we have our first job, which is build and test. So if you see, this indentation is wrong here, this should be under jobs. So let me select this and press one tab. Okay, so now next, under this job we need to specify the steps. Okay, what all the steps we need to perform as part of this particular job. So here I will, let me go out from in the pool indentation, because this BM image is part of pool. Now the next line should start from pool, because now the steps will not come under this pool. Okay, so here let me search for steps. Still I can see the auto completion is not working for some reason. Okay, so the very first thing what we need to use a Python version. So let me do one more thing. Let me create a one pipeline here. So same time we will basically we will see basically in here, so it will be more clear as well. So let me choose Azure Repos Git. Here I will use my repository and I will use a starter pipeline. So we are not going to save this particular file, just we will validate it from here. So what I will do, I will just copy this content, whatever we have defined here. So it will give us, okay, if it is correct or wrong. And let me close everything, sorry, remove everything from here. Okay, so I have copied the code here. So we are getting this warning, incorrect type, like expected array. So we will see this thing, why we are getting this warning. Let's just for now just ignore this one. And in job also we are getting build and text. Maybe we need to put this in brackets. Okay, not double, let's try for single brackets. Okay, this is fine, just ignore this one as well for now. So we have defined jobs. Under jobs we have a first job, which is build and test, and this is the pool which we are going to use. And here we have a VM image, like virtual machine image, which we are going to use U12 latest, which is basically the agent which we are going to use to execute this particular job. Now the very first steps, under steps basically we need to define a task. So now you can see we are getting a lot of options here. So let me put, sorry, not this one. So we need to define first task here. So let me put enter hyphen, and I will search for task. So either you can manually add a task here, or you can use this assistant here. And what we need to do, we need to use here use a Python version. So for this, let me search use, okay, let me put space Python. So here we are getting a task use Python version. So this is we need it. So what we will do here, version specifications, either we can put here 3.9 which we needed, we have specified instead in the parameters, and add to path, and we will simply add this particular task here. So what I will do, I will remove this task from here, and I will keep my cursor here, and let me minimize this because it is heading in down. So let me add a task here. Okay, so you can see a lot of values here, version specifications, add to path, architectures. If I'll click here settings here, so we can see advanced details like which architecture you needed. So all these things basically we can see from here. So the very first task we have defined, okay, use a Python version which is 3.9, and we have already specified as a parameter. So what we can do, we can pass here as a parameter value. Okay, so the parameter value will be let me copy it here, sorry, let me remove this from here. So in here basically we will use dollar curly braces, and here we will define parameters dot the name which is Python version. So what will happen basically, maybe this version specification you have to do multiple places. So instead of putting the hard-coded value 3.9 every time, what we can do, we can parameterize it, and we can use this particular variable or parameters in all the places wherever it's required. So you have to just change this value in a single place, and it will reflect in your entire pipeline as well. Okay, so we have used a Python version which is required in our Azure hosted agent, wherever these job will be executed. Now let me go back. So next we need a cache also, because we want to use a cache feature as well. So again and again our pipeline will not download the packages which is required. So what we will do next, we will add another task here. So I think for cache we don't have a task. Let me quickly check. Cache files between run, this is something different. Okay, so we will here use a script basically. Let me clear the cancel this. So I will come here and let me see the indentation. So we have to come in a hyphen task series, because every task will come, either it is script or task, everything comes under steps. So here what we will do, let me add a comment here as well, so it is easy for identification. So create the pip cache. So what we will do, we will create a pip cache directory as well. In case if it doesn't exist, then it will create a directory as well. So now we will add a script here, hyphen, and we will search for a script, and we will run a command, because we are going to use a Ubuntu as a agent, hosted agent. So here we will use a Linux command. So I will use make directory -p, and the path we have already discussed in here in our slides. So I'll let me copy this particular file, path from here, and I will paste it here. So let me remove one slash. So here what we are going to do, we are going to create a pip cache directory if in case it doesn't exist. Now let me hit enter. So we can also here give a display name. Okay, let me put here display name. So let me give here name ensure pip cache directory exist. Okay, so there are multiple spaces, let me put it in a single quotes. Okay, so not here, let me put here. Okay, so we are going to create a directory for catch. After directory creation, what we need to do, we need to run a task. So here we have seen a one task for catch files between run. So let me search here. Okay, so we need to define a key identifier, unique identifier for the catch. So this should be the string that can be segmented using a pipe. So what we have to do, let me quickly check. I have already noted this value here. So let me first add a description here. So we will keep in mind, okay, for what purpose. Uh, so here will be catch pip package between pipeline runs to speed up dependency dncy installation. Okay, so now let me check the indentation. It is correct. So let me do one thing. Let me add this here as a task. So the first thing we will get text a hyphen task, and the name is catch2. Now in the input, basically we need to specify a key and path. So let me let me remove this first. Key. So key should be in a single quote. Basically it will be Python and space pipe, and here basically we will use agent OS. So let me see a dollar in open brackets agent dot os, and let me close this. And okay, so here I have not put double quotes. Let me add double quotes here, and hyphen, from where we will download the package, from our requirement.txt files. .txt. So let me put in single quote this one. Okay, so this is the key we have defined for unique identifier basically. And now next we need to add a path. If I go to settings here, the path also we have to specify. So path we will specify a same which we have created here. So let me hit enter here. Let me type path, and let me copy this particular file here, a path here. This I will put it in a single quotes. Okay, so here basically all the packages will be stored on this particular path. Which packages? Whatever the packages we have specified in requirements.txt file. Okay, so now we got our pip directory, catch directory created. We are going to install all the packages and store all the packages on this particular path. Okay, now what next we need to do? We need to install a requirement. Basically we need to install a Python packages as well for our application. So for this let me do one thing. Let me hit enter. So next what I will do, I will add here another script, and I will pipe it. And here what we will do, why I did pipe, because we are going to run here multiple commands. So let me put one more tab. So it should be in a same sequence where we have key and path. So here I will install pip install. First we will see upgrade also. In case if we have an older version, then it will automatically upgrade. So let me do a upgrade pip packages first. Then we will install our packages, pip install -r, which we have specified in requirement.txt file. So let me just copy this file instead of typing manually. Okay, next Okay, so these two things, in case if we have a old pip packages, so it will upgrade it and it will install all the packages which we have defined in the requirement.txt file. If you want, you can give a display name as well, for like for which purpose you are running this particular script task as well. So let me give a display name here. So for this we have to come to the inner same indentation where we have scripts. If I'll search here D, type D, we will get a display name. So here let me put name install dependencies. Okay, so till now we have created one task to use a Python version which we have specified here. Next we have create a cache directory in case if it doesn't exist. Then we have installed, or we are going to download all the all the packages on this particular location, and then we are installing the dependencies. Let me go back here. So now we need to run a flag 8. So for this what we will do, again I will add another script here. Before that, let me add a descriptions for which purpose basically we are going to use. So we are going to run flag flag 8. This is basically used to check a Python code style in case any line issue, length issue, or spacing issue. So like basically your code quality should be good. So from this basically we can check. So for this we will run a script again. So here let me give a name, script name FLA flag 8. And if you want to give a display name as well for this, we can do this. So let me again hit one more tab, and if I type D here, we will get a display name. So we can give here name a lint code. Okay, so we have used a flag 8. Let me go back here. Now next we need to run our unit test cases as well. So unit test cases we have under test directory. Okay, so now let me do one thing. Let me again add a description. So indentation is very important, that's why I am repeating every time. Here let me type run pytest. So here again I will use script, and let me here pipe it because we are going to run a multiple commands here under this script. Okay, so let me check indentation. Okay, one more space, not one more. Okay, so let me check the sequence. Okay, that is fine. So here we have to first export the Python path where we need to run. So for this we will use basically environment variable Python path, and we will use as a environment current working directory, which is pwd. Okay, and now we need to specify our pytest directory, which is not in caps, pytest directory, which is in our test tracks folders. So if I'll open my repos in another folder, so under this we have basically our unit test cases. So we have to define this particular path where we need to run pytest cases. Okay, so now next thing, if we want, we can give a display name as well. So let me give here run unit tests, not tests. Now let me go back to my image. So we have installed dependency, cache, flag kit, unit test. Now next is bandit, which is static code analyzer. So now next we need to use a bandit here. So again for this as well we will use our script. So here I will type here description run bandit, and here again I will search for not here -script. and again we will use pipe here because we are going to run commands. Okay, so let me come in proper sequence. Okay, this is find location. So here I will type a command python hyphen m pip install, and we will give a name, vendit. Okay, when we will learn, we will see okay what all the issues we are going to see. As of now I'm just writing this particular file. Display name we can give install bandit, because we need to first install this particular tool on our Azure hosted agent, then only basically we can scan our code. Okay, so next thing what we need to do, we have to scan this code. So what we will do, again I will add a description, scan the code base. Okay, then again we will use, or let me remove this. So again I will use a script here. So let me search for scripts, and again I will use pipe here, and I will run a command vendit -r. So actually this particular things you should know, okay, what all the commands we need to run. So now we can provide a display name here as well. So display name, let me provide scan code base. So this is also completed. Okay, so as part of build, basically we have included all the tools which we needed, like unit test cases. We have installed the dependencies. We have run the security scan for bandit with bandit, and test cases as well. So now let me go back. Now we need to publish our build artifact. For this, what we need to do, we need to first zip the application code which is required to run our application, and then we will publish it. So for this, what I will do here, let me search a task here, archive files. So here archive type is zip. Let me give here path. So we will use root folder location name, which is not build.binary directory, because it will copy all the files. We need system, let me remove this, dollar brackets system dot default working directory. Okay, let me check if spelling is mistake. Okay, so what it is basically, so let me copy it and Google it. Let's see what the mean of this particular directory. So this is the basically predefined variables for Azure pipelines. So let me see details. So okay, so we are looking for build variables. Okay, system variables basically. So this is the system.default working directory which we need to copy. So this is the local path on the agent where your source code files are downloaded. Okay, got it. So this is the location where our application code base already downloaded on an agent machine from our Azure repos. So from this we have to pick our files. So let me copy this path and let me go back to my Azure DevOps portal. So let me copy it. Okay. So now archive type we need zip and archive files to create. So this is build.artifact staging slash, and let me edit this one as well. So let me do one thing. Let me enter a task indentation should be in the same format, same sequence like we have scripts. So let me add it. So let me click on add. So here what we will do, we will just change the name from here build.build.id. Instead of, we will give a name called python app.zip. So with this name basically our zip file will be created. Okay, now we have created a zip file. Now we need to publish this particular file to our Azure agent. sorry, Azure artifacts. So for this we will search a task for publish build artifact, this one. Okay, so here input path will be this one. So let me copy this and let me put it here, because here we have published our uh, application code file, and here artifact name we will put drops, and this is fine. So I will add here another task. Let me add it. So let me again minimize this and let me add it. So it's completed. So if I go back to my diagram, so we have completed all these steps which is required. So now let me go and copy this file, sorry, not file, copy the content and paste it in my build.ml file. Okay, so we are not sure if we will get any issue or errors. We will see when we finally run this particular pipeline. Okay, so this is completed. Now next, what we need to do, we need to deploy this application to dev environment and prod environment, and for that we need a Azure App Service as well. So before this, before writing YAML file for dev environment, first we will write, or I would say first we will basically create our Azure App Services. So for this, let me close these four sites here and let me open my Azure DevOps portal. So we will create a two app service, one for app, one for dev and another for prod environment. Let me save this file as well, otherwise we will lose it. Okay, so here I will go to my app services. Let's try first for a dev environment. Let me create a web app and let me give this, choose my resource group and let me give a name dev21. And runtime stacks we will use a Python, because we are running Python application. So let me choose a Python 3.9 version, and region I will choose Central India, and pricing plan basically we will go with free because that is sufficient for us. And let me hit review and create. Rest all the fields I will keep default. Okay, so though the deployment is in progress, let's wait while this basically app service is getting created. Okay, so our app service has been created for dev environment. Let me do one thing. Before creating a deployment pipeline, first validate if the build pipeline which we have created that is working or not. Okay, so for this what I will do, we will create a Azure pipeline.ml file. So let me clear this content from here because we have already copied in our Visual Studio Code. So here let me add a trigger here, and here, sorry, let me add branches, and here we will include our main branch because we have our app or our code in main branch. So if I'll go here, we have a main branch. Okay, and next thing what we will do, we will add here stages because we need to also include our templates which we have created. So let me search here for template, and here we need to define the path. So our template will be under this particular location. So what we will do, let me create a folder here. So let me create a new folder here. So we will name it pipelines, and under pipelines we will create a file called build.ml file. Let me create it first. Okay, so now in template basically we need to specify a path. So the path will be pipelines slash build.ml. Okay, so first we will run this particular part, so we will at least get to know our build pipeline is working fine or not. So let me, before saving it, let me add a content here. So I will copy the content which we have written on our here. So let me commit these changes Again, let me minimize this commit, and here I will go and save and run our pipeline. Okay, so it's failed. Let's see why it's failed. The Azure pipeline.ml build.ml not found in the repositories. Okay, let me run again because we have created this. Okay, pipelines or okay, so actually the name is incorrect which we have defined here. So let me do one thing, let me edit it. So the file name we have defined here is build.yml, not AML. So let me validate, and again let me, okay, stays build job and test has an invalid name. Valid name may only contain alphanumerical characters and hyphen and may not start with number. Okay, so we need to correct our stays as well. So let me save it anyway. So let me go back to my repo and let me go to pipelines build.ml file. So let me edit. So I think here basically we will remove this particular part. Okay, let me again minimize this. Let me expand it a little bit more. Now let me go back in our pipeline. Okay, so it's automatically triggered because continuous integration is by default enabled on this pipeline. So this pipeline is running now. So the issue was with this particular name, the job name. Okay, so we have removed. Ideally it should not be spaces. If we are putting spaces, we should add in quotes basically. So that is fine. So here we can see a unit test cases got failed. Why? So let's see, important module test.test-py. Make sure your test modules package has valid Python names. Okay, this is fine. Okay, let me know module name app.py. Sorry, app. So let me quickly check why we are getting this unit test cases error. So basically it is not getting a current working directory. So let me go and check my build.ml file here. So here we need to look for test cases. So actually there is one issue. This PWD should be in small letters, not in caps letters. So let me correct it, PWD in small letters, and let me commit the changes. As soon as I will commit, it will automatically trigger the pipeline. If I go back here, so it is already triggered the pipeline. Let's see if it this time is getting succeed or fail. Okay, so we can see a catch folder is also passed, dependencies is also working fine. We need to verify a unit test cases are running or not. Okay, so unit tests is also passed this time because the issue was the PWD should be in small letters, not in a caps letter, because we are using a bash. Okay, now again it failed scan code basis. So generating script, I think there are some issue again with the command which we have specified in build.ml file. So let me check the stage, which is scan code base. Okay, so display name here is scan code base. So here basically it is getting failed. Okay, that's fine. So name is bandit. Okay, so here we need to specify where is it need to look for the code bases. So we will put here dot, so it will look all the recursively in all the folders of files. So let me save it and commit it. Now we will go back to our pipeline and let's see if this time it's working or not. Okay, so this time again our build pipeline got failed at publish build artifact stage, where it is showing a publish build artifact failed with an error not found. Like this particular path, it is not founded. So let's see why it is not founded. So let me quickly go to build.yaml file and check what is the issue. So in last step, I can see there are a few extra quotes which is incorrect. It is a typo basically. So let me remove two and let me commit it. So now we will see if it's able to publish the package or not. So let me go back and see the running pipeline over. Okay, so it is executing. I'll pause the video. Once the pipeline execution will be completed, I'll resume back. And sorry for the if you are getting a background noise, I'm really sorry for that, because when I'm recording this, there are heavy wind and rain outside, so that's why you can see some background noise of wind as well. So sorry for that. Okay, so this time I can see build pipeline is getting successful. Now let's see if the it published a artifact which is required. Okay, so we got a artifact as well, which is python app.zip file. This package is basically we will deploy in our Azure App Services. So finally our build pipeline is working fine. Now next we need to deploy to our app service. So we have created a web service called dev21. If I'll browse this app, so we will not see any content for now. So let me go and create another file here. Before that, let's create a file in VS Code first. Let me create a new file and called a name deploy -dev .ml file. So here again we will create a stage. So let me search for stages, and first stage we will create, let me give a name to deploy -dev and let me give a display name. So I think the indentation is wrong. It should be one. Okay, it's fine. Here. Okay. So let me put here deploy to dev environment. Now, okay, let me remove this. Now, if we want to create a dependency, okay, once the build stage will be succeed, then only this particular deployment pipeline will trigger. So for that we can put a condition as well. So for this we can use depends on, sorry, let me change a name, dploy deploy, and here we will add a dependency depends on. Now we need to see a name of our stage, which is build. So let me copy this name here and let me put it here, build. Okay, now again same steps we have to follow. We need to create a jobs again here. So let me create a jobs first, and here we will create a deployment job. Earlier we have created a simple jobs here. But now we will create a deployment job. Okay, let me give a name here. Okay, let me, indentation is more important here, I've missed it. So LOYMENT deployment, and let's put a name here, dev deployment. Okay, now here if you want we can include an environment as well, so we can basically create an automatic approval instead of manual. So we will put envir environment, let me do one thing instead of doing VS Code extension, because I'm not sure why this auto completion is not working. So let me copy this. I will go back to my Azure DevOps. So on here itself, basically we will create, because it will not work. I know. Sorry. Let me put it here. Okay, so it is easy to create here because it will automatically populate a value as well. So now we will choose an environment. So let me put a name called dev, and here we can use a strategy. So here you can see strategy. Now if I'll tab one more, okay, let me put one tab, so we can use a rolling update or run once. So we will go for run once, and here I will search for deploy, and here next we need to add a steps. So first step would be we need to download the artifacts. So here we can put current and artifact name. So artifact name a drop, which we can see in our build pipeline as well. So if I go back to my VS Code build.yaml, so the artifact name was drop. So same name we have to put here as well. Okay, so now next what we need to do, we need to deploy this app to our app service, which is Azure Web App. So for here I will search a task for Azure Web App. So Azure Web App Service deployment. So let me select this task. Here I will choose by subscription. So you can basically parameterize, or you can create a variable for these values instead of hard coding in your pipeline. This is for just a demonstration, so I am putting as it is. And web service type I will use web app on Linux. App service name I will choose by tab21, which we have created. And now package of folder path basically. So this particular path, okay, I will change a little later. Let me first add a Python version here. So let me select Python 3.9, and we need to give a startup command. So let me give Python app.y, because when the app will start, which file should execute. So this is the one. Okay, so let me keep my cursor in a same location, or let me add a task here. So now what we need to change here, we need to change a package where our existing package. So package we have published in pipeline. So here we will use, instead of system default working directory, we will use pipeline dot workspaces. That's what here basically we have published our packages. And instead of path we can put here name, which is drop, and if you want you can give a zip file name as well. Otherwise you can put star.zip as well. Okay, so now let me copy this stage and paste it in my this particular file. Now in Azure DevOps, let me go to my, let me first validate and save it. So now I'll go to my repos, and here under pipelines I will create new file, which is deploy-dev.yaml file, and here I will copy the content. Let me commit the changes. Now let's see if it's working or not. So if I go to my pipeline, automatically we can see a pipeline has been triggered. So let me cancel this one. Okay, so this will not work because we have not included the template in our Azure pipeline. So let me edit this, and here what we will do, again I will add a template, and this template pipeline, this one. Now let me validate it. Okay, stage deploy-dev has an invalid name. Valid name may only contain character. Okay, so let me correct this first. So let me again go back to my repo, and under pipelines, let me rename it. So let me rename it deploy underscore dev.ml. Maybe this is what it is causing the issue. Let me go back here. Now let me validate. Okay. Okay, so basically this particular name is wrong here. So let me edit this one. Let me put hyphen here. Let me commit the changes. Now let me cancel this and validate. Okay, so now pipeline is valid. Let me save it. So let me go back to my pipeline. So I can think 2 or 3 build has been triggered as part of this. So let me cancel this one. Okay, so now 2 stages we got build and test, and another we have deploy to dev. I think the name is wrong. Just ignore this for time being. We will correct it. So this basically should be changed. Okay, this is fine, no issues. Let's wait for a couple of minutes to complete this particular stage, then this one. Okay, so we can see our deployment job has been failed. So let's see why it got failed. Pipeline.workspace, if the package, okay, so basically it is not able to find the package. Okay, so what we will do, let me correct this one as well. Let me remove the replace keyword from here and the name. So here we will keep exist name. Let me go to my Visual Studio. So this is the name from which we have published our package. So let me copy it and let me put it here. Now let me commit and save. So automatic pipeline will be triggered. Now let's wait again. Let's see if this time this stage deployment to dev environment is getting succeed or failed. So deployment has been started on dev deployment stage. Let's see the result in couple of minutes. Let me. Okay, so this time again it got failed. So basically it is not able to identify the package. Okay, no issues. Let's quickly troubleshoot this. So let me go to my repos again, and here I will go to deploy.ml. Let me see if the name is correct. Pipeline.work. Okay, so here the, if you can see, the name is incorrect. I missed the A in a workspace. So let me SP. So here should be A workspace. The spelling was wrong. That's why it's not working. Let me commit the changes and let's again wait for a couple of minutes. Then we will get to know, okay, if it's working or not. Okay, so the build stage is completed. I think now this time the deployment stage will also be completed because we have not seen any issues, and we can see successfully deployed web package to app services. So it will take some more times to update the configuration settings and all. Okay, so our deployment is completed on dev environment. Let me quickly refresh this page. Okay, so now we can access our application on the dev environment. So we are getting a response hello from Azure DevOps pipeline. So it means it's working fine. Now same steps we have to follow to set up for a prod environment as well. So now let me create another app service for prod environment. So I'll again go back to my app service and I will create another new web app for prod environment. So let me choose my resource group, and here let me give a name prod 21, and runtime stack again I will choose a Python which is 3.9 version, and I will choose my region which is Central India, and pricing plan you can see a free automatic it's taken because we are using a same Linux plan, app service plan. So rest all the fields I will keep it default, and let me hit review and create. So it will create another web service for prod environment. Now in a pipeline, basically what we will do, I'll go back to my repos, and in repos basically I'll go to pipelines. I will create new file here, and let me give a name, deploy prod dot YAML. Let me create it, and here I am not going to write entire things again. What I will do, I will copy the stage for my from a dev environment basically. So let me okay, go to dev. Okay, we have to write something here, so let me put some text here. Let me commit, and I will copy my deployment stage, dev environment stage, and I will copy and I will paste it in deploy hyphen prod. I'll just change the value here. So here I will change to let me change it dev to prod, and depend on, we can put deployment hyphen dev, which is upon our build dev stage. And here again I will choose change from dev to prod, and environment I will choose prod here, and rest all the fields I will keep it default, but just I will change the name of our web app. So now the new name of our web app is, okay, let me hit on create first. So the name will be prod21. Let me copy it, and let me change the name as well, which is prod21. Once our app service will be ready, then I will trigger a deployment. Basically I will commit the changes, so it will automatically trigger a deployment. Okay, so deployment is completed. Let me go to resources. Now what I will do, I will commit these changes, and so it will automatically trigger a pipeline. So if I'll go back to my pipeline here, and let me run it. Okay, we cannot see another stage here, which is deployed to dev. Let me cancel this one. Meantime, what I will do, I will disable the continuous integration on this pipeline, so it will not trigger every time as soon as we will commit some changes. So for this, what I will do, I will add it to the pipeline, and here I will go trigger, and basically I will override the YAML continuous integration trigger from here, and we will disable it. Let me click on save. So let me close this. Okay, let me go to my pipeline again. So here what we need to do, we need to include a template as well for prod environment. So let me type here, search for template. So here the template name is prod.yaml file. Let me validate it, and let me again minimize this, and let me save it. Now let me run the pipeline. Before that, one more thing we have to do. Let me cancel this. We have to set up approval before it deploy to production environment. So for that, we have already used an environment in our ML pipeline. So for this, what I will do, I will go to a prod, I'll go to approvals and check, and here basically, okay, deployment, let me edit it. Oh, sorry, not this one, approvals. Let me close this first, and here I will go approvals, and here I will select my name. Let me again minimize this. Let me create the approvals. So now I will go and run the pipeline. So this time we can see 3 stages. Deployed to dev. Okay, the name should be changed. This should be a deployed to dev. Okay, let me cancel it, otherwise it will be confusing. So let me change the name in my repository. I'll go to repos deployment.prod.yaml file. Let me edit it, and here I will change it prod, and depends on deploy. Okay, let me quickly check the stage here. Let me open my, here the stage name was deploy hyphen dev. Let me copy it. Okay, now let me commit the changes. Now I will go and run the pipeline. Because we have disabled the continuous integration, that's why stage deploy hyphen prod depends on unknown stage. Okay, there is again some issues. So let me quickly check the name of deployment stage. So which is deploy underscore dev. Let me copy this name and change it here. Now let me commit the changes. So now let me go back to my pipeline and let me run it. So this is going to take a couple of minutes to deploy, run this pipeline. Meantime, what I will do, I will pause the video. Once the stage will be completed till a dev environment, I'll resume back. Okay, so you can see its deployment is completed on dev environment. Now it is waiting for the approval. So once I will review and approve it, then it will start a deployment on prod environment. So that's how basically in a real time we use approvals and gates. So gates we will discuss in another videos, but the concept is similar, same. So let's wait again couple of minutes to complete this job. So it got a service connection for app service. Okay, so we can see a deployment is completed for prod environment as well. Let me quickly go and browse the application. Okay, so we can get a response from this URL as well, prod21, so and from dev21 as well. So it means the deployment is completed successfully. So if I go back to my presentation here, so we have completed all the steps. We have missed a manual approval. So if you want to use instead of environment variables, environments like for approval, you can use a manual intervention or manual validation as well. So for that, what you have to do, you can create another stage. Let me go to my pipeline. So I'll just show you the task which one you can use for manual validation as well. So let me edit it. If you search here for manual, we are getting two options: manual intervention and manual validation. So you can use this one also if you are not going to use an environment as for a deployment approval. So I hope it's clear. In case if you have any doubts, you can ping me over comments. So that's all for today. See you in next video. I will upload the sample code in a GitHub repositories and I will share the link on description as well.